Hans Womat has made no less than 7 appearances on this channel. I've focused on him more than any other conspiracy theorist or flat earther out there. This month he is back for his 8th outing and he hasn't got any less incredulous or ridiculous. This is Hans and this is his world. Hello all and welcome along to another episode of Tinfoil Tuesday with me, Simon Dan. Thank you very much for joining me. Yes, Hans has had more YouTube channels removed than I've had hot dinners. He is a one-man wrecking ball conspiracy theory machine causing a wake of destruction. Who am I kidding? It's just Hans. However, recently he's gone on a conspiracy rampage, if you will, showing us absolute classics such as Bubbles the chimp is a midget in a fursuit, School makes you dumb, and eunuchs love the colour orange. Today he's going the whole hog as he looks at the zealotry of scientism. Away you go, Hans.
Hans Wormhat. This is a video on the zealotry of science, and I could talk about this for so long that I want to try to keep it really short. I used to believe in science.
So what happened? Because science is still here and true whether you believe it or not.
And okay, it's bad to say that because I still believe in being able to have theories and test them and prove things right.
Oh, so you do believe in science?
And the scientific method, but modern science has nothing to do with that. And people really follow it just like a religion, and I used to follow it just like a religion. Believe things against better judgment that don't have proof for it. And
hang on, Hans, there is nothing invisible that's got no evidence for it in science. Just saying.
Believe fairy tales that people tell you. Like, I remember when they tried to teach me the fairy tale of gravity, I remember knowing that that was not true, that wasn't the right answer. I knew that the apple fell because it's more dense than air and it's no longer supported by the tree. That's buoyancy.
Well, it's not really, but okay.
And you don't need the mass of the Earth to bend space-time.
So what are you using to bend space-time then? A holy crowbar?
And here's where they get kind of arrogant about it too. I have no problem admitting that God made this place the way that it works, and that's why there's only one down direction, and that's why things fall only in one direction. And that direction is down.
But why is it down, Hans? Why is it not left? The density of the air to the left of the apple is the same as the density as the air below it, roughly. So why did it choose to go down?
And I'm okay with saying that. Now, what scientism will do is they'll make up some sci-fi explanation for that. But at the end of the day, they still don't really have a why. Okay, so let's just go along with the spaceball thing for a second, just for fun. The value of g is 9.8. Well, why? Why is it 9.8 and not 4.9?
Because when you drop something, it accelerates at 9.8 meters per second squared. It gets faster by 9.8 meters per second for every second it falls, not 4.9 meters per second.
Or not 20. Why is the value of g what it is? They won't have an answer for that.
Literally just giving you one, and you can Google it in 5 seconds.
So just because they have one fairy tale answer thrown in, oh, you don't know why objects fall only down. I'm fine with saying because God made this place in a way that makes sense. There's an up and there's a down. That's a perfect answer for me. I'm okay with that. And that's another thing too. They think that they can set their own goalposts for everybody else. I'm allowed to choose what's a convincing argument for myself. I find it very convincing, the argument that there's just an up and a down and it's the same for everybody else.
Now Hans here has just said one of the most sensible things I've ever seen him say. It's up to him what he decides is convincing to him personally. Fine, but when we're talking about intrinsic values that have been categorically proven, then you are basically ignoring that evidence and coming up with your own reason. There's a subtle difference there.
And I find the spaceball stuff laughable. And anyways, continuing, they don't have an answer for why. And that's where now probably they're talking about this Higgs boson stuff. If we can smash particles together and show you some CGI images, we can prove where gravity comes from or something. And it's just a bunch of sci-fi. They can always write whatever story they want and change their story. Notice that they're able to just make up whatever they want. And they don't have an answer for, they do not have an answer for how these things come out.
You know what? Sometimes we don't, but we always strive to find those answers. And when we do find them, they are always, and I mean always, backed with evidence.
But they'll parade around like they have better answers, where they're at the same place. They can't say why it's 9.8. And I'm just going to end this video with blatant lies. Scientism will blatantly give lies, but they're allowed to give lies and make it change stories and still pretend like everything they do is perfect. How often do you see viruses depicted like this? This is what viruses were. When I learned what a virus was, this is what they were. Nowadays, with HIV virus and stuff, they show us these CGI blobs. Okay, which is it? Why didn't HIV look like one of these little bugs? Why does HIV look like a blob and not these crystal creatures?
Because that creature is only one type of virus called a bacteriophage.
They don't teach this anymore because it's a lie, but people still believe it. If you go talk to people about the bitter spot and the sour spot and the salty spot and the sweet spot, people still think that this is a real thing because, and they did experiments on it in elementary school. This was a big thing, people testing this out, but now it's known that this is a bunch of BS. So what's going on there?
That is just improvement in our understanding. That is real science.
How can people do a bunch of experiments and they're doing experiments on a bunch of BS and nobody calls it out?
And that is exactly what science is, Hans. Not as aggressive as you said, but essentially proving each other wrong is the general gist.
The healthy eating pyramid. Look at the capstone removed. I know this looks like some newer one. They have breads at the top. This, of course, is breads at the top is not the one that they taught us. Oh, they have some breads down here, whole grains.
And what has that got to do with the price of fish?
Ghost light of long dead stars. I remember in elementary school, they taught us that the stars were all dead. They told us that the starlight that we see from all the stars are long gone.
Whilst that may be the case for some stars, the ones you see with your naked eyes each night certainly are still there.
That's what they taught us, and that doesn't make any sense. They don't talk about that anymore. But Hubble Deep Field, of course, will say stuff, but this isn't science. Going back to what science really is, you can't corroborate Hubble Space Telescope images, Hubble BS, and it's just mocked up images. And it's not science.
Hans definitely has a hate boner for Hubble, doesn't he?
And I guess I'll just say here, a lot of scientism is the religion of the lost. The ones who, yeah, they're just lost.
Oh, he actually cares about us after all.
And most of the people who push scientism, they aren't even really into it. That's not their religion. They're just straight up Satanist.
I assume that's me, Hans, is it?
I didn't include images, but plenty of people that come on my videos and try to bash me about science stuff. Oh, Hans, you're so dumb. You don't know any science. People, they're just Satanists. They have 666 usernames. They have Baphomet icons. They have, so my point here is, there's people that believe in scientism, and usually those people are just lost. They believe what they're told. That's what I used to be. And then you have people that push scientism, always talking about planets, always talking about outer space and stuff. But what they are is they're lying Satanists, and they're just pushing this false paradigm.
Oh, that's me. The second one he said. Defo.
A huge thing that people bring up, oh, well, NASA hasn't been around forever. What, so they were faking stuff before NASA? Yeah, people have been lying forever. People have always been lying. People have always been deceiving.
Of course they have, but not about space, etc.
Victorian era trick photography. Scientism. I think I like sciencism better, because it's not like they're worshipping just the scientists. They could come out with an article about AI robot stuff and people, so it's not just about the scientists. How long ago was this, when doctors were pushing cigs?
Ooh, low blow, Hans. Low blow.
Higgs boson. It's just a bunch of BS CGI stuff. How do you know that CERN is anything other than Disneyland? How do you know that they actually do anything there? It's not science. It's not reproducible. Can other people go can real people? Not. It's all elitist. It's all appeal to authority. No, you'll never be able to go do that stuff because you're too stupid. It's just what they'll tell you. But what they don't tell you is it's actually just Disneyland, and it doesn't actually do anything.
Oh right, so if it's too hard or expensive, then we aren't allowed to do it because it's not repeatable. Behave, Hans. I've had enough of him today, bashing all sorts of science left, right and centre. I don't want to hear it anymore. Well, that ended abruptly, didn't it? Oh well, I'm sure I'll calm down enough so I can make another episode on Hans very soon. Thanks, buddy. Thank you very much for watching today. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, a like and subscribe would be thoroughly appreciated. I have been Simon Dan. Have yourselves a wonderful remainder of your Tuesday, and I'll see you all tomorrow for a brand new fresh comments video. See you then.